It is a place that understands the eternal wonder of sky in order to guard our native ground. Many serve, but in their service, they soar. There are many symbols that define our armed forces, many that outline their mission and shape their will. But perhaps the greatest of these symbols is also the simplest: wings. Aren't they what we all aspire to gain? Aren't they the emblem of our first wish? For if there's one word at the core of the American dream, one hope at the heart of our nation's promise, it is this: to rise. In this place, that's what everyone does every day, to protect that possibility and to provide us the peace to make it real. There are many paths that lead the young and brave men and women to this place, but there's also one destination they share: the boundless blue, forever and beckoning. They enter it, and at some point they do for us what we hope we can do for ourselves. They make the leap. To places in strife, to people in need, to freedom in peril. There are those who see flight as escape. Here, they see it as the opposite: duty. A force from the air for the shelter of our land.
He just has that kind of effect on people. He always has, and he always will. Doesn't matter how old you are or where you come from. Whether you're a fan or a driver like me.
I knew early we had one of the greatest drivers to ever sit in a stock car.
He's always had that killer instinct. I don't think it's ever gone away.
When something has lit the fire, man, I've learned to just step out of the way and watch someone who's truly a master at his craft go to work.
It's just never really about being good enough. It's about being the best. And that's what drives Jeff Gordon.
It's not bumpy up by the wall, though, right?
No.
Where's the car slide at?
In these things.
On the concrete?
Yeah.
His competitiveness came out immediately at 5 years old, relentless at what he was trying to achieve. Our first major race at the track, Jeff wouldn't lift the throttle. I mean, he drove in and actually tipped the car over. And he's in tears, and he's saying, "How's my car? How's my car?" And I said, "I'll fix your car. Don't worry about your car." Immediately, it was apparent to me that I had a competitor on my hands.
What were you doing in 1995? Because he was winning races. And what were you doing in 2005? Because he was winning races. The man's done this for over 2 decades now.
The only piece of NASCAR memorabilia I've ever owned was a number 24 diecast car. Bought it at Toys R Us before I was ever racing stock cars, when I was just a fan. The reason I watched was because of him. I idolized him. The competitor I watched growing up was a guy who could live on the ragged edge and even intimidate people.
Here comes Jeff Gordon to take the lead. Here comes Gordon right up to the bumper again. The bump and run.
He knew exactly what to do, where to be, how to block. If he needed to put the bumper to you for a win, you could expect that from Jeff Gordon.
In his career, he doesn't have a lot of second place finishes, because if you could get him to third, fourth, up in there, he was going to figure out a way to win.
Unbeatable. They were just unbeatable.
We had to race guys that were our heroes. We're talking about going head-to-head with Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator.
Dad always had a pretty physical side to him, but Jeff and Dad's battles, when they happened, it was always a lot of respect on the track.
Tremendous champion and competitor, but he did it with the respect of everybody that he competed against and with.
In 2002, Jeff changed my life in a moment. He saw enough to go to Rick Hendrick and to tell him I was the guy to put in the car. He saw whatever the heck it was and believed in me. There were times he didn't even realize he was teaching me, but I was just sitting there, absorbing it like a sponge.
I knew that there would be a day that Jeff was going to make his decision. And he said, you know, I want to do something for the fans. But he said, I want to compete. I want to go out on top.
It was like a 20-year-old kid that had won his first race, and this was the 93rd time.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe that! We're going to Homestead!
You were just seeing a guy really maybe celebrate his last win. He didn't want to leave anything on the table. He didn't want to walk away with any regrets.
Thank you! Thank you! Appreciate everything, guys. Yeah, we did it, man. We did it. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, thank you.
It's so hard to express how thankful I am to Jeff Gordon. Even having those conversations with Jeff, it almost makes him uncomfortable. He's like, oh man, don't worry about it. You did your thing. I barely did anything at all. I want to carry on in that way. I don't know how it will feel when he's gone, but I know none of us will be the same.
It is a word that has divided this city. Through harrowing nights and convulsive hours and strained voices. It is a word that has enticed this city. Through thousands drawn together and voices lifted higher and hearts pushed faster. It is a word heavy yet fast, complex yet clear, difficult yet thrilling. And for a city that has filled the nation's headlines with the language of strife, it is the word of the day and the syllable of the hour. Race. For the 140th time, a time that dates back to the presidency of Ulysses S. Grant, there will be a race here, held the third Saturday in May, holding the second jewel of racing's Triple Crown. The horses who will break from the gate will run where legends did before them. Man o' War and Seabiscuit, Secretariat and Seattle Slew, Smarty Jones and Big Brown. They come here to the enduring relic of Pimlico, the second oldest track in the country, and to the edge of a frayed city. To the Park Heights section of Baltimore on the northwest side of a place still seeking to heal. Park Heights is about 4 miles from where Freddie Gray was arrested. Gray's death, a week after the arrest, sparked wide protest and sporadic riots in the city and trained a light on the festering tensions and ancient divisions of our nation. Into that division, they come, without any agenda beyond the primal, to run, to strive, to win. And maybe for a moment in Baltimore, the only colors that will matter will be the light blue and yellow of American Pharoah's silks, or the others chasing behind. When the gate opens, those colors will fly and blend. And then they will separate.